So there I was, 4 years old, standing on the porch with a suitcase, crying, just blubbering, just saying, "I'm sorry, Mama. Yeah, I'll be good. Let me in. You know, I'll do whatever you want." I was begging to be let back in the house. Hey brother, welcome back. Thanks for being here. In this video, I want to talk about fathering your inner child. And I want to tell my own personal story and journey about how I did that and how it's transformed my relationship with myself. So when I was going through separation, possible divorce, I was reading the book No More Mr. Nice Guy. Now, if you haven't read that book, I highly recommend it. It talks a lot about how we see ourselves as men, what we do to try to get our needs met. And I don't want to go into it too much in this video, but the book was highly transformational for me. In fact, it felt like he was sleeping under my bed or hiding in my closet or tapping my phone or tapping into my own private thoughts that I thought nobody else knew but me. And that book really was transformational for me. It was the gateway to the men's work that I did for myself and that I help other men do for themselves. And so I carried that book with me all over the world. I have it on Kindle, I have it on Audible, I have a print copy. And at the time I had this print copy that I just put in my backpack, and I spilt coffee on it, and I dog-eared pages, and I wrote in the margins and all of that stuff. And I highly recommend that you do the same. I've taken that book to Bali, I've taken it to Rio, I've taken it to Vancouver, I've taken it all over the world, really. Now I'm here in Costa Rica with the digital versions of it. And one day, though, I was sitting in my backyard in Austin, Texas, and I was reading this book. And I was sitting in a lawn chair, reading through this book, writing in the margins, making notes in my journal. And all of a sudden, this memory popped into my mind about being 4 years old. So when I was 4, I don't know what happened. It was just one of those days. We all have our breaking points. We all have our bad days, our bad moments. At some point, I was being a rambunctious little kid, as best I can determine, and she had just had enough. Maybe I was being too loud. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was all about her, which usually these things are. She said, "That's it. I'm tired of it. I'm sending you to your father," which this is a threat that she used to use in order to get me to do what she wanted to do. She would say, "I'm sending you to your father." And she was talking about my biological father, because we lived with my stepfather. Except for this day, she actually got a suitcase. She grabbed a whole bunch of clothes, my clothes. She shoved them into the suitcase, and then she put me in the suitcase out on the porch where we lived. Now, at the time, we lived in a trailer. We had a wooden deck, a wooden porch, and she put me out on this porch and she shut the door. Now this was a screen door, one of those aluminum doors with the glass top and then a screen on it. So there I was, 4 years old, standing on the porch with a suitcase, crying, just blubbering, just saying, "I'm sorry, Mama. Yeah, I'll be good. Let me in. You know, I'll do whatever you want." I was begging to be let back in the house, because when I looked at the steps on the porch, it was scary. It was terrifying. I was 4 years old. Where was I gonna go? I had this bag. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to survive. I didn't know how to live. And so here I was, just begging and pleading, "Mama, please let me in. I'll be good. I'll do whatever you want." Just begging for acceptance, approval, forgiveness, love. And I was sitting there in my backyard, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this story. It's something that's popped into my head many times throughout my adult life, and each time that it did, I just said, where did that come from? It was almost like it was a song that just sort of pops into your head for no reason. And the only thing you can do is just sort of wait for it to go away. And so I would just sort of wave this memory away and go, I don't know, that was weird. But this time I was journaling. This time I was reading this book. I was writing the margins, and I said, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to journal about this memory. I'm going to write this memory out. I'm going to let the words, I'm going to leave it here on the page and let the words just kind of fall onto the page. And it was something that I had never done before. It had always just been a a movie clip that had played in my head and that I hadn't really faced or addressed or thought too much about. Didn't know what to do with it, but this time I wrote it in my journal. And as I was writing my journal, I was writing the words, "I'm sorry, I'll be good, I'll do whatever you want, please let me back in the house." Now, I'm a 4-year-old begging to be let back in, begging to be accepted, promising to turn myself inside out to please someone in my life, to please my mother, to please someone who at that point was everything, was my whole world. And so in that moment I was like, holy cow, I have never made that connection before, because in No More Mr. Nice Guy, he talks about how we turn ourselves inside out to please other people, how we try to gain other people's acceptance and approval, how we think that if we do, then we'll be okay, that we'll get our needs met, that we'll have a problem-free life, that we'll be safe. I had never made that connection before for myself, and that was powerful. It was pivotal. Pivotal. Nope, that's not the word. Pivotal. Pivotal. And at that point I had left it on the page, so I was like, wow, okay. But I still wasn't quite sure what to do with it, right? Okay, where do you go from here? You've made the connection, you realize the significance of it, you've left it on the page, now what? Well, a few days later, I read an article that said we need to father our inner child, that there's an inner part of us, the 4-year-old part of us, and then there's the today part of us, which at the time was a 46-year-old, right? So there was an opportunity for me to provide to my 4-year-old self what I hadn't gotten on that porch. And so what he said in the article was, he said, you don't want to deny that these things happened. You're not trying to pretend like it didn't exist. You're not trying to be delusional or delude yourself and ignore it. What you're actually trying to do is say, hey, this thing happened, but I'm going to treat it like a video, and I can actually add on to that story. I can edit the end of that movie. I can be the director, and I can add a new scene onto the movie. And so that's what I did. And he recommended that you walk into that scene and that you father yourself, you father your inner child. And so that's what I did. I imagined that scene, the 4-year-old standing on the porch, the suitcase there, crying, begging to be let back in. And then me, as a grown man, walking into that scene, walking up those steps that I was so terrified of, getting down eye level with myself and saying, it's okay. I'm here. I love you. I'll take care of you. You're safe. Come with me. You don't have to be here anymore. And then I took myself by the hand and I led myself off of that porch. And every time my little boy gets frightened, unsure, unsettled, unsafe, doesn't feel secure, is angry as a secondary emotion because of something else that's going on in his world, I remind him that I'm here and that I'm taking care of him and that I love him and that I've got this and that he's okay. And now when I tell that story, when I'm telling you that story right now, there's nothing on that porch but a suitcase. That moment happened, but my little boy, my 4-year-old, me, that part of me doesn't live there anymore. I've reclaimed him. I've fathered him. And I brought him home to me. If this is something that you want to talk about, if you had these types of memories, if these kind of things plague you, if you have these types of events in your life that you want to face and you want to be free of, then let's talk. Schedule a call with me. Let's talk about what's going on in your life right now, and let's talk about some of those memories that might be connecting, that may have caused you to disown yourself, that may have traumatized you, that may have led to you feeling unsure, unsafe, unsettled, doubting yourself, turning yourself inside out to please other people so that you would be okay. Let's talk about those things. I want to listen to your story. I want to hear your story, and I want to reflect back to you some of the things that you're saying so that you can hear yourself, so that you can get clarity, so that you can surface your own answers for yourself about how you want to live. I want to share my own personal experiences with you, and experiences and insights from the men that I coach and work with. I want to point to resources, and I want to get together with you and come up with a game plan that's personalized and tailored to you of how to move forward, how to be comfortable in your own skin, how to own yourself, how to father your inner child, how to be happy, how to let go of the frustration and confusion and fear and shame and everything else that's holding you back from having the life that you want. Because I can guarantee you that your family, your wife, your girlfriend, your kids, your friends, your coworkers, your boss, your clients, strangers on the street, they're all getting this version of you, this unhappy, the nervous, anxious, unsettled version of you. And there's another version of you, the version that you were born with, the version that's happy and joyous and likes to laugh and play and invite others to play, and to be able to enjoy your life and get clarity about what it is that you want and where you want to go and who you want to be and what you want to do and who you want to spend your time with. That's what I'm inviting you into. So check the links in the description below. There's an opportunity for you to set up a call with me. Let's talk. And until then, be kind to yourself, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.